Okay, guys. Let's get the ball rolling. Ito, bilisan na natin to. Kasi alam ko, busy tayong lahat. Habol pa natin, no? Yung iba dyan sa atin na kakain pa, magka-catch up pa sa kanilang mga kapamilya, sa mga jowa, yan, mga naghahanas-hanas dyan. Kamusta kayo dyan? Kamusta Pilipinas? Kamusta ang traffic? Ayan, takas tayo sa traffic mga kamets. Yan, yun mga nasa traffic naman. I hope this is a perfect time for you to have a productive listening experience. Pag-usapan natin guys itong mga latest na pangyayari sa ating bayan. Obviously, as you may know, yung fallout ng call for secession or some would say incitement sa rebellion ni Pangulong Duterte. We're still seeing the aftershocks of that. Top officials galing sa defense establishment ng Pilipinas, including people who used to work for Digong at the highest levels, including at least two individuals who were not only in Duterte's cabinet, but two individuals who were the chiefs of the armed forces of the Philippines, all of them coming out and very strongly saying no to any kind of rebellion, no to any kind of secession, no to any kind of threat sa integridad ng ating bayan, sa integridad ng ating karagatan, ating teritorya, lahat ng mga yan. Alright, so if you look at it mga kamets, no, in many ways, si President Duterte is increasingly isolated, no? Pag titignan mo sa Mindanao mismo, whether itong mga leaders ng Bangsamoro, whether itong mga leaders from Zamboanga, Del Norte, Del Sur, all the key provinces, with the exception of Davao and I don't know, Governor Alvarez, Pantaleon Alvarez, it looks like Digong is isolated even sa Mindanao. Now, I'm not saying na hindi popular si Digong, hindi popular ang Dutertes. I think the Dutertes are still seen as the sons and daughters of Mindanao. And every time nasa national or international level sila, ang ating mga kababayan na Bisaya, at ating mga kababayan na Mindanaoanan, taga Mindanao, they 100%, almost 100% base sa mga surveys na kita natin, stand behind the former president and his family and loved ones. Yes, agree ako dyan, but that doesn't mean na kung anong sasabihin niya, sunod-sunuran ng ibang tao, or kung anong sasabihin niya, sunod-sunod lang yung mga ibang politiko. No, the picture is much more nuanced. Na I think kung may away sa pagitan ni Duterte at saka national government or yung mga taga-norte, sa amin, mga Ilocano, I'm sure there'll always be tribalism. In the same sense na sa amin sa mga Ilocano, mga taga-north, mga solid north, liquid north, pink north, non-pink north, lahat yan. We close the ranks. I know may tendency na ganito. Unfortunately, tribalistic pa rin ng Pilipinas. Pero pagdating dun sa call for total separation of Mindanao, I'll be honest guys, this is more like Republic of Duterte or Republic of Davao rather than Republic of Mindanao. No, walang suporta si Digong from other key players sa Mindanao. At katulad ng mga iba't ibang mga vlogs natin dito in conversation with our co-host, in my own vlogs, in my own analysis, pinakita ko sa inyo guys yung mga datos na pinapakita na actually tayo sa Luzon, especially in National Capital Region, ay biggest source ng revenues. More than 80% of total revenues in this country comes from the National Capital Region and surrounding regions alone. So that means if the NCR and surrounding regions is only about 30% of the Philippine population or even less, that means yung nangyari dito is the other regions, especially from Mindanao among others, are not fully ready yet to raise enough revenues for themselves. Kaya nga, it's really the national government who's funding them. Now, as I said, naintindihan ko yung frustration natin mga kababayan from Mindanao, from Visayas, different regions. Kami nga, taga Cordillera, taga Baguio, may sariling inis din kami sa mga taga Manila. Don't worry, nagigets ko yan. But as I said, what we have to understand is the reason why hindi nararamdaman ng ating mga kababayan sa Mindanao and other regions etong mga subsidies essentially from the national government, from taxpayers in NCR, etc. is because ninanakaw ito. Is because nasisiphon off ito. Is because nag-gobble up ito ng mga warlords, dynasties. Alam niyo na kung sino yung mga yan, 'di ba? Yun ang nagiging problema. So I think yun yung concern, yun yung talagang problema natin. Yun ang dapat ayusin natin. Hindi federalismo ang sagot. Ang sagot diyan is empowering the people in Mindanao and Visayas directly rather than going through corrupt warlords, dynasties na sinisipon off lang ito para sa sarili nilang pakanan. Alright. Having said all of those things, as I said, yan, magsimula na. Ready na. Okay, trolls. 1, 2, 3. Let's go. Pag-usapan natin ang opposition. Alright. Okay. Tunay na opposition. Hindi yung japeks na opposition. Hindi yung opposition na naging opposition lang dahil hindi binigyan ng posisyon. Ganda na na. Naging opposition lang dahil hindi binagyan ng posisyon. Mga pulveronic analysis dyan. Ayan, parang gusto ko i-tweet yan ng posisyon. Yan. Okay, mga kabuljakan dyan. Yan, mga kabuljakan dyan. Kamusta kayo dyan? Yan, yung mga, hindi counted sa akin yung mga pa-opposition dahil lang hindi binigyan ng posisyon. Alright? Hindi counted yan. Or naging opposition lang dahil hindi nila nakuha yung kanilang mga discretionary funds. Or naging opposition lang dahil hindi nila nakuha yung mga confidential funds. Yan. Or naging opposition lang, galit lang dahil hindi binigyan ng malaking pork barrel, billion dyan. Yan, hindi opposition yan. Ang tunay na opposition po, alright, kaya nga sabi ko, I always made a distinction between functional opposition or instrumental opposition, I rather say, instrumental functional opposition and genuine opposition or ideological opposition. So yung functional instrumental opposition, ito yung mga tao na dapat kasama dun sa mga powers that be. Ito yung mga kasama sa unity team. Ito yung mga kasama dun sa ruling coalition. Ito yung mga kasama sa winning coalition. Ito yung mga kasama sa winning team nung election. And then, hindi binigyan ng posisyon or nawala ng posisyon, nawala ng access sa posisyon, nainis sa gobyerno, ayan tuloy, naging opposition. Hindi po tunay na opposition yan. Ang tawag po dyan, instrumental opposition. Naging opposition lang dahil hindi binigyan ng posisyon. Speaking of the real opposition, that's Leni Robredo. That's Riza Ontiveros. That's Franz Castro. I can go on and on. That's Leila de Lima, right? Now, I can go on and on about it. Ito yung mga tao na totoong opposition. Totoong opposition sila dahil if you look at kanilang track record, they have opposed both Dutertismo and at the same time, they have never been a fan necessarily of authoritarian nostalgia / Maharlika / bagong lipunan / bagong Pilipinas, yung mga ganun. Alright? Okay. Ayan, kinote na natin yan. Naging opposition dahil di lang binigyan ng posisyon. Alright. Yan, hindi mga tunay opposition yan. Instrumental opposition po ang tawag dyan. So the genesis of yung term na yan is from Max Weber. No? So instrumental logic versus... Okay. So hindi po kasama dito sa usapin natin today ang instrumental or functional opposition. Yung mga dati, go for BBM, go for Uniteam, hindi binigyan ng opposition, biglang nagbubuljakan na. Yan, hindi po yan. Hindi po tunay na opposition yan. Yung mga tahimik dati sa Farmali, sa mga Swiss bank accounts, sa Cayman Islands accounts, and then ngayon bigla ngayon galit sa corruption, para sa good governance na parang biglang for democracy, ganyan yan. Hindi yan tunay na opposition. Yan yung mga hindi binigyan ng posisyon, kaya hindi natuwa. Alright? Marami din tayong kilala dyan na dapat naging Malacanang vloggers. Ayan, tapos di na naging Malacanang vloggers. Tuloy. Naging opposition. Ayan, fake yan. Fake po yan mga ganyang opposition. Fake, parang fake news. Fake. Alright? Now, speaking of the real opposition, ako, dami na naman galit sa akin dyan. Okay, I'll be honest, guys. I'll be very honest about it. I'm fundamentally disappointed with so many thought leaders, with so many columnists and experts who should have known better, pero hindi sila nagsalita. Now, gets ko na siguro may mga iba tayong mga kaibigan na hindi nagsalita masyado after not 1, not 2, but 3 election losses dahil siguro they're thinking about friendships, they're thinking about interpersonal relations, they're thinking about their colleagues, their careers. Gets ko yan. Wala akong pake dun sa mga hardcore dilawan na out of this world. Hindi. Mag-Google Trends na lang sila forever. I'm talking about the people who should have known better. I'm talking about people who read the proper materials. I'm talking about the people who have progressive tendencies. I'm talking about the people who understood what was going on. Right? And yet, they remain quiet. And they remain quiet for months after months and after months. And some of them, I was told, hindi lang sila duwag, right? But they were actually bashing yours truly, alright? Para maging pogi sila dun sa mga fanatic base nila ng Dilawan, right? Those people are always gonna be a disappointment. Now, that doesn't mean I'm perfect. That doesn't mean I always got everything right. No. Marami din tayong mga mali dito. May mga analysis here and there. But overall, if you look at my body of work, meaning thousands of articles, books, etc., thank God we got many things right. Now, having said that, I feel so bad na actually during elections and after elections for 6 months to 1 year, it looks like parang ako lang, right? Ayan, babash na naman tayo, sabihin nila cloud chaser. Who came out and said, please, etong denialism, toxicity, etong mga SD card lang lahat, ito yung it's just disinformation, yung mga ganun diskurso po, as much as emotionally it gives you succor, as much as it's emotionally comfortable, it's intellectually and politically self-defeating. Parati ko sinasabi yan. Agree naman talaga ako mga kamets na disinformation played a role. But to say it's the factor, meaning more than 50% of causality, either may problema yung mga ganyang pag-iisip, diba? Yung mga ganyang pag-iisip, either masyado kang invested sa ganyang argumento dahil it's good for your business, or medyo sablay talaga analysis mo. And kailan mo i-level up yan. Or worse. So actually, it's a disinformation to say that only disinformation or more or less disinformation explains everything. No, it's not true. As I said, pagtatawanan ka in any serious scholarly or academic or intelligent panel. Alright? As emotionally appealing that may be, walang kwenta yung mga ganyan arguments in a really serious context. Okay? I'll just be very honest about it. Yes, disinformation was a factor, but maybe 20%, 30% maximum. But it was not the factor. There were many other factors which I explain in great detail dun sa pieces natin sa Journal of Democracy, sa mga libro natin, sa mga articles natin, sa mga book chapters natin, Cambridge University Press, Oxford University Press, Palgrave Macmillan. So think of any major publications, we try to contribute there and explain yung power of disciplinary politics, disillusion with democracy, democracy fatigue. Ang dami kong mga explanation dyan. Now, so either some people are tamad, they don't read, or some people refuse to appreciate the nuances and complexity of the situation. Now, of course, after 1 year, biglang tapangan na yung mga iba. And then, not long ago, hear ko na yung ibang vloggers, nagtatanong ng mga right questions, biglang nagkaroon ng self-reflections. But honestly, I'm still not fully convinced na may 100% reckoning and soul-searching and reflection dun sa mga tactical, mobilizational, organizational, ideological, political shortcomings, deficits ng opposition, in addition to, of course, the structural concerns and structural obstacles katulad ng disinformation. Alright? Lahat ng mga yan, guys, in-explain ko in great detail during elections and after elections. In fact, I encourage you guys to check my analysis of what happened in 2022 elections right after the election day. Alright? So, just to be very clear about it. And all of this, yes, correct. Thank you for some of you guys pointing it out. The self-righteousness, the mata pobre, the toxicity, all of that, guys, it's bad. It's morally bad and reprehensible, but it's also bad for opposition. It's bad for the brand of opposition. And some of the fools out there who try to cancel me out and say, oh, si Richard, cloud chaser, si Richard, get out of here, you fools. All right? Yung mga katulad namin, we're there front and center getting the death threats, getting the attacks, getting the trolling for 5-6 years. Kayong mga duwag dyan, a lot of you writing under fake accounts and fake anonymous accounts, or yung mga Johnny-come-latest dyan na bigla lang tapang-tabangan nung last elections lang, yung 2022 lang biglang matapang. Nasaan kayo nung 2020, 2017, 2018, 2019, 2020, 2021? O, nasaan kayo? So yung mga yan, ano na lang, just zip it. Alright? Just zip it. Before talking to the big boys and talking to people who actually were front and center, I'm not saying, and let's be clear, hindi ako katulad na iba na sasabihin ko, ako lang lumaban. So actually, if you want to talk about cloud chasing, if you want to talk about yung mga tao na nagbubuhat ng sariling bangko, I can name a lot of people out there, all right? But let's not go down that road. That's toxic. But I'm just saying here, self-righteousness is not good in this, all right? Now, there's nothing wrong with making righteous arguments, base sa ating saligang batas, base sa ating panindigan, base sa ating paniniwala, base sa sinabi ng Diyos, base sa sinabi ng ating whether Biblia or anong mga holy books nyo dyan. Okay ako dyan. Pero yung self-righteousness, sabihin mo, ikaw lang tama. Yung mga kakampi mo lang ang tama. Right? At silang lahat, mali, masama, ganon. That's self-defeating and that's moral and ethically questionable and intellectually poor. Intellectually poor. Alright? That's very, very intellectually poor. Okay? And then, may mga iba nag-feeling dyan na yung mga abogado lang dyan na wala naman high-level analysis sa politics, social sciences, gano'n. Nag-feeling na dismissive sila at pinipilit pa nilang disinformation. Sana yung mga yan, kaysa alam mo, knowing the law doesn't make you an expert on political dynamics and all of that. It's a totally different, the two are totally different issues. That is why, people from Harvard Law School, people from law schools in Australia, among others, would invite people like me, who are not lawyers but political scientists, to contribute dun sa mga publications nila on populism, etc. All right. So I hope some of our lawyers will be more like the lawyers in Harvard Law School who invite people like me, reach out and learn from social scientists, political experts. Right. Just to be clear about it. Now, of course, for some of you may interested, you can just go straight check sa Cambridge University Press, type nyo lang, "Hey Darian," a number of book projects will come out which I contributed to. Actually, interestingly, those were in tandem with law schools in Sydney and in Harvard in Massachusetts. No, you can also check on YouTube yung speech natin at Harvard Law School about populism in emerging economies. I analyze populism in Philippines, India, Turkey, and Brazil for comparison, and Indonesia, by the way, as a comparison. So please, you can check this out. So everything I'm saying here, base yan sa discussions with experts all around the world. Sa third world country lang inisip ng tao ng mga abogado lang may alam sa politics. Like that's fourth world. Pagtatawanan ka pag nasa isang matinong lugar ka or matinong eskwela ka. All right? So just be very clear. Actually, bring it out. So you can go to YouTube. All right, just type, "Hey Darian, Harvard Law School." My lecture will come there. And by the way, this was like 2018 pa lang. I was already warning about things happening in places like not only Turkey but also India, which was not recognized. And I remember, okay, ito. So Harvard Law School, you can check it out. Andun lang yun. I can post the link. So, anyway. And you can also check my second talk na I also had with Harvard Law School in 3 years ago, in 2021 naman. Alright. Populism and Human Rights, based dun sa mga libro natin with friends from Harvard Law School. So, I'm just telling you guys, alright, when I'm giving this analysis and all, hindi ito yung natulog lang ako, nagising lang ako, I just woke up like this with these ideas. No, pinag-isipan natin na mabuti yan. Marami tayong nabasa, marami tayong nasulat to arrive at those kinds of analysis. So, I don't take it lightly when some Johnny-come-latelys, diba? Is that correct? Johnny-come-latelys, or, some biglang tapang-tapangan na bigla nung last elections come out and try to be dismissive and all of that. So if some of you have seen me on Twitter shutting down some people immediately and calling out their nonsense, you have to realize where I'm coming from, all right? Because toxic, self-righteous fools have no right, right? Have no right to spread toxicity without being called out. I'm not gonna stop you from expressing your opinion, but you're gonna be called out for that. You're gonna be called out for that. The same way, if you call any people, vermins, you call any people in negative way, you dehumanize other people, I'm gonna call that out. Even if you're my friend, even if you are in the same camp, even if you push for democratic values. Because kung totoong Kristiyano ka, or totoong kung may paniniwala ka sa Diyos, right? You won't fall for either self-righteousness or you won't fall also for dehumanization of other people in any context. All right? So that's what I'm saying. Seryoso tayo, right? Nagpapatawa ako here and there, but we're absolutely serious people with what we're doing here. Okay? We're absolutely serious people with what we're doing here. Well, it doesn't matter. It's not about religion. It's also a question of ethics. All right? So yung mga nag-mention na atheists sila, I don't care. Okay? It's about ethical considerations. It's about compassion. And compassion is a universal value. You can be non-theist, you can be monotheist, compassion is a universal value. Okay, we can have a completely different vlog and lecture and discussion about it. Anyway, going back to this, so, pag-usapan natin ito, Jerry, anong may naiwal dito? O di, walis ka dito, di block kita. Naniwala ka dito. May maniniwala ba sa'yo? Ilang followers mo? Tingnan natin. Sorry naman. Sorry naman, dami mo ng followers. Nakakaya naman sa'yo. Okay. Isa pa yan. That's what I'm saying. You spread toxicity here, I'm gonna call you out. As simple as that, alright? Oh, nasan na? Oh, nasa ka na? Nasa ka na? Jerry boy. Okay. Anyway, actually minsan natatawa rin ako kasi nagkakamali ako. My God, may isa tayong na-block before. I thought ako yung binabastos, yung pala yung kabilang binastos. So binalak ko, yung pala parang beshi pala natin yan. So sorry dun sa may iba. Nangyayari talaga yan. But guys, kasama yan sa platform natin. Yan ang gusto ko sa social media. May konting bardagulan but with a heart. Alright? Bardagulan with patriotism. Now, okay, balikan natin ito. Balikan natin ito mga guys. Kaya parati ko sinasabi, if you're watching this para you get entertainment, trashy entertainment na malabuljakan, mga ganon, you're in the wrong place, guys. If you're here to just hear na yung isang kampo, yung ibang tao sa ating bayan ay walang alam, tayo lang matalino, this is not the wrong place to come. This is not the right place to come, sorry. This is the wrong place to come to, all right? So, I'm not here to do tribalistic argument. I'm not here to say kakampi lang tayo dito, kakampi lang tayo dyan. I'm not here to say, you know what I'm saying? I'm not here to just entertain you guys, mga ganon. Kung gusto niyo yung mga trashy stuff, we go somewhere else. Now, let's go back to here. Let's go back to my discussion now. Now, I understand there could be a very strong counter-argument to everything I've been saying. Alright? And I understand where that counter-argument is coming from. Simple lang naman yung argumento eh. Richard, di ka naman naging politiko, di ka naman tumakbo sa elections. Anong alam mo dyan, di ba? Okay, well, speaking of that, parang, okay, anyway, it's like saying, hindi ka naman football player, wag ka na mag-analysis ng football. It's like, okay, whatever. Anyway, but for a moment, let's patulan natin yung ganyang argumento. Alright, sabihin natin, okay, let me just put it. Sa anthropology, may tinatawag na emic and etic view. Now, so there's an outsider view and there's an insider view. And sometimes, actually, being the outside, you see things clearer because meron kang bird's eye view. While people who are there in the thick of action, minsan nabubulag sila because it's the mist of war and conflict and battlefield and all of that. So sometimes being an outsider is actually a good thing. But never mind. This is not about who knows things better. That's the reason why, meron tayong mga vlogs with people like Ronald Diamas and mga others because sila, may karanasan sila on the ground and in very difficult elections, etc. And kita niyo naman, yung mga ganun tao na kausap natin, mutual respect naman yun. Alright? So anyway, going back to this, I understand the counter-argument to everything I've been saying since 2022 would be this. Simple lang. Actually, more than 2022. Simple lang naman. Ang sasabihin mo, Richard, okay, kahit tama ka naman na nagkamali kami dun sa mga dating elections and all. Actually, guys, napansin medyo mas energetic tayo kasi napansin ko maraming kape na tira kanina. Para lang hindi masayang. May Ilocano style. Nako, may kape. Sayang naman. Di ginano ko, binuhos ko. Tuloy, sobrang hyper na ako. Ganun palang diskarte dyan. So, kaya guys, naging hyper tayo kasi biglang, para hindi lang masayang. Yung kape. Medyo malamig na, pero wag natin sayangin. Let's go for it. Okay, ito guys. I know yung counter-arguments na sinasabi ko would be this. Sometimes, anyamit kapsa ito, madam nama. Ayan nga ni Jerry Boy. May nakikinig ba sa kanya? I'm just saying, alright? Magtutroll ka sa akin, ito troll din kita. Ganyan kasimple lang yan. Alright, be ready. If you're gonna troll me, I'm gonna troll you back. Anyway, you asked for it. O, wala na, awanin sila, nagawid din. Ito. Ang dami ko kasi gustong sabihin, sumasabay lahat eh. Hindi, ito guys, ganito. The counter-argument to me would be, okay, what's past is past, natalo na kami. But actually, sometimes the best strategy is to wait out things. Alright? The best strategy is to have tactical retreat. Not strategic retreat, but tactical retreat. Tactics is about how, strategy is about what, the end goal. Tactics is about how do you get to that end goal. Okay, so, gets ko ng maging counter-argument sa akin would be, see, Richard, see, Kaya nga naging ganyan yung away ng Duterte and Marcos is because neither of them is threatened by opposition, kaya sila na lang nag-aaway. Well, guess what? Actually, I'm the person who elucidated on that point and said, yun yung naging paradox or irony of Philippine politics, that actually the weakness of the progressive opposition and liberal opposition actually encouraged Marcos Jr. to take on the the Dutertes, and to be a little bit more open to semi-quasi-liberal reform. At yun ang diniscuss natin sa Journal of Democracy article natin that you can check online. Yes, in fact, I also raised that dun sa isang discussion natin with Ronald Llamas. But let me come up with my counter-arguments to that counter-argument to me. So see, you have to be able to think about an issue from multiple angles. My counter-argument to that counter-argument to my initial argument would be that first, madali sabihin yan ngayon na naging ganyang kagrabe yung garapalan na away na yan. Which, by the way, was not totally inevitable. As I said over and over again, BBM is conflict avoidant, and if it were up to BBM and Sara Duterte, they want to keep things on an even keel, and then by 2028, mag-take over na si Sara, and then Sara will make sure safe na si BBM, safe ang Marcoses, and smooth transition. What many people didn't anticipate is how far Digong will go in terms of challenging yung authority, if not challenging even the power position of BBM. I think hindi rin na-anticipate ng maraming tao yung maging vicious na away between the Duterte camp and some of the key allies of the president, including the Speaker of the House. None of those things were inevitable. None of those things were necessarily foreseeable. So kung sasabihin mo na, Richard, tama naman kami ngayon, that's easy to say right now after all of these contingent factors happen. When I say contingent, meaning hindi yan given na mangyari. Alright? May element of my element of accident, my element of randomness dun sa nangyari dun. All right, so that would be one of my counter arguments. The second counter argument I'll have is what I said dun sa interview natin, huling interview natin sa CNN Philippines. Again, I am very emotional about this. Obviously, because I work in a TV channel and all, I was wondering kung okay lang i-love interviews sa CNN Philippines. But thankfully naman, supportive naman yung ano natin. So I did steal that interview because I really, really like Pia Intovero's show. She has a very, very good show. And kasama po natin dyan isa sa mga top experts ng si Lacerda, Edwin Lacerda. I have a lot of respect for him because in fairness, I have to point it out. Edwin Lacerda was one of the people associated with the pink and yellow or whatever. At least he worked for Pinoy before that. In fairness, from the very, very early on, pinapoint out niya yung mga shortcomings ng opposition. If you don't believe me, go on CNN Philippines. Oh wow, wala na pala, no? But I think I posted that. Kaya nga natuwa ko na at least some of these interviews, I got snippets of it. So you can check, siguro go on YouTube and put Hey Darren CNN Philippines. Not CNN. If you put CNN, lalabas niyo mga interviews ko with CNN International, right? Including with Christian Amonpour, among others. So kindly check those things. Now, my counter-argument to that would be, kung titignan mo yan, okay, nag-aaway yung dalawang kampo ngayon. Ang tanong ngayon, nasaan ang opposition? Right? It's still a strong argument. Because nagkaroon ng rallies and counter-rallies yung dalawang panig. Pag tinignan mo naman yung mga opposition leaders, mag-food vlogging na lang, picture na lang with Miss Universe, yung mga ganun, which is good, which is great. I have no problem with that. But what I'm saying is, you have to make sure na you are leaving a signature, a mental signature, in the mind of the voters ahead of next year's elections and beyond. Kasi nga sabi ko, mahalaga na ang tunay na opposition, may mga position sila, literally, sa elected offices, top elected offices, local elected offices in 2025 so that they'll be in a position to act as a third force come 2028. Because as things stand, 2028 is still a race between Sara Duterte and Raffy Tulfo. Alright? Now, some of you may be okay with Raffy Tulfo, some of you may not be okay with Raffy Tulfo. Some of you may love Sara Duterte, some of you may hate Sara Duterte. But the reality is that many would say you want more options beyond those two, right? So, paano magkakaroon ng third option na credible third option? Credible, meaning may good chance of winning, may 10, 15, 20% of the vote, if, right, wala yung legwork as early as right now. Kasi nga, katulad nung sinabi ko dun sa interview natin sa CNN Philippines, the big threat right now is mabobox out yung opposition. Meaning, maging irrelevant sila and everyone is just waiting for what is the latest na sasabihin ni Baste, latest na sasabihin ni Digong, latest na sasabihin ni Sara, latest na sasabihin ni Martin Romualdez, latest na sasabihin ni BBM, latest na sasabihin ni First Lady, latest. Parang sila na lang eh, di ba? I mean, I'm just looking at my videos, di ba? Na pinost ko political. It's all just them. It's Duterte, Marcos. Not because I want to post about it. It's because that's really the only thing that people are paying attention to. Right? I mean, yung isang video natin kay Digong, 4 million views na ngayon sa Instagram almost. Yan, ito. Yung 2 minutes highlight na kinuha ko. Ayan. 4 million views na yan. Almost. Oh, yung parang sila na lang. I mean, like, kinaren nila yung buong airtime. Sila na lang. Tapos, meron pa yung drama ng isa. Yung isa, tapos yung kapatid niyang senador na Marcos din, tapos ganyan. Wala, puro sila na lang. Di ba? Puro na lang purong made in Marites na lang yung politika natin. Puro na lang Marites, counter Marites, etc., etc. So, having said that, ang position ko is very simple. At yun yung sinulat natin sa Inquirer article natin today. Alright? I'm not dismissing very good efforts, whether by Leni Robredo, whether by key leaders of the opposition, whether by Riza Ontiveros, Franz Castro, Leila de Lima, etc., to bring different groups together. I know there are efforts there because, as you know, dun sa isang vlog natin with Ronald Llamas, pinag-usapan natin ito yung mga ongoing efforts, yung tinatawag natin na war of positioning. That's great. That's fantastic. My point is, okay, some things are happening, but it has to be more visible. It has to be more in your face. So, for instance, bakit nagkaroon ng rally ng Gising Pilipinas? Naging morning show, Gising Pilipinas. Bagong Pilipinas, bagong mukha. Yan, yung mga Andrew E. Diba? Yung mga ganun. Andrew E. Bagong Pilipinas, bagong... Alright. So, bakit sila? May ganyan sila. Tapos yung kay Tatay Digong, magsispeech siya na naman gano'n. Si Tatay Digong, hindi na kailangan ng performance. Hindi nila kailangan ng Andrew E. Si Tatay Digong mismo, siya mismo, entertainment na siya, di ba? Kung ganyan ka magsalita. Yan ang entertainment nila doon. Ay, grabe, nagalit-galit si Digong.
Kasi magkaibigan tayo, Mayor, pinakitaan ako ng...
Ayan, so, di mo na kailangan ng entertainment. Andyan na si Digong. Siya na yung entertainment mo. Kalahin mo yung sasabihin niya, nag-drug addict yung mo, di ba? Wala ka ng mas entertainment dyan. Alright? Wala ka ng bagong mukha. wala na. Baka mabuking yung mga talents natin. Guys, itago naman natin. Baka mawala na yung respeto niyan. Dami kong sinabi sa mga serious publication natin, pa Harvard Law School, pa Sydney, ganyan. Tapos biglang danceries na. Basta ang sinisabi ko, kung si Andrew E. nga may ganyan moves, lalong-lalo na yung mga zadi na katulad natin. May laban talaga tayo dyan, guys. By the way, totoo ba na hiwalay na sila Bea at saka si Totoo ba yan? Wala akong biglang lumabas lang sa feeds ko na hiwalay na po, ganyan. Kasi nakita ko yung picture, ay, ang cute naman ng aso, parang Picasso, ganyan. Tapos biglang, hiwalay na po, si ganyan. Ayon kay Tito Boy, yung mga ganon. Tito Boy, hindi Tito Boy Soto ha. Ito si Tito Boy Abunda. Anyway, the reason na sinasabi ko, kasi may pinost akong picture na thank you kay Bea Zobel, na kaibigan natin si Bea Zobel Ayala. Nung nag-beat kami nung December, and then biglang, I have no idea what happened. Biglang natag si Bea Alonzo. Oh my goodness. Sabi ko, baka magkaka-issue mamaya, sabihin nila ano nangyayari. Kaya sabi ko, mamaya baka mamaya, change topic na tayo ba? Magmamaritesan na naman tayo. Maritesing, sabi nga ni Bato. Don't maritesing. Ayan, maritesing. Ito going back to the opposition. Ito na guys. Ito na. I'm gonna finally give you my argument. Talo ko pa si Buljak TV ha. Si Buljak TV after 1 hour lang niya sabihin yung gusto niyang sabihin. Ang dami niya mga hanash. Ako, Malapit ko na matalo si Buljak. Anyway, my argument is, kailangan mag-flex ng opposition ng konti. Some rallies, some presence there, some speeches there, some big events there. Not in a threatening way, but in a civil society legit exercise of democracy and pluralistic mobilization way. Alright? And to be specific about this, sabi ko, there are three things that the opposition should stand for. Right? 2 no's, 1 1. Oh, 1 yes, sorry. Nandistract ako sa mga comments dito. Mamaya na tayo magmarites, okay? Tito Boy, interview natin si OG, Sir OG Diaz. Nung na-meet ko si OG Diaz, OG Alcacid. Sabi ko, OG, oh my, talagang, yung showbiz career natin, dahil sumasablay mga natin. But anyway, balikan natin to mga ka-showbiz. Ito, sabi ko, there are three things that the opposition should do. I'll be absolutely clear about this, alright? So there are three things that the opposition should do. First, there has to be a clear no to any kind of charter change under suspicious circumstances. Any charter change that could undermine yung ating saligang batas or ating mga democratic institutions. Absolutely dapat clear tayo dyan. As I said, you cannot fix a problem if the fixer is the problem. Right? Pangalawa, there should be also no to any incitement to rebellion or any threat to the integrity of the Philippine Republic, ating karagatan, ating teritorya, everything that our forefathers and our ancestors fought for with blood and sweat and all sorts of sacrifice. But at the same time, dapat mag-yes ang opposition. Very clear ang yes ang opposition for ICC investigations and if need be, ICC warrants of arrest against people who indeed engage in massive violations of human rights. And yes, also, let me be absolutely clear about this, yes, also for accountability for corruption and human rights violation, not only 5 years ago, not only 10 years ago, but also what happened in the past at hindi nagkaroon ng accountability. Dapat i-carve out ang opposition nito. They have to be very clear. Because nakikita natin ngayon, di ba? One side is for Chacha, one side is for Maharlika Fund, one side is, and then the other side is against Chacha. But what the opposition should do is to be neither nor. Neither this side nor that side. But go for a third option. A good option when there's accountability, when we fight corruption and there's good governance, and also no mumbo-jumbo constitutional changes which could undermine our democratic institutions. Yun dapat ang positioning ng opposition. At yung mga opposition, naging opposition lang dahil hindi binigyan ng opposition, naging opposition lang dahil hindi binigyan ng position, hindi tunay na opposition mga yan. Opportunista lang mga yan. So very careful dapat ang tunay na opposition when these people are reaching out to them. So hindi dapat magpagamit ang tunay na opposition sa mga alam na this. Alright? Ganyan kasimple lang yung point ko. Alright? So all of this conversation we had for 1 hour was to set up this fundamental point. Alright? Thank you very much again sa mga nagmamahal sa atin, nagagalit sa atin, nagde-troll sa atin, nagko-comment sa atin. I hope you appreciate all of these things dahil alam niyo naman, mahal na mahal ko kayo. So I hope tuloy-tuloy itong discussion natin. Ayan. At, ba't nawala na yung nagte-troll sa akin, Jerry Boy? Nasaan ka na, Jerry Boy? Sorry naman sa followers mo. May nakikinig ba sa'yo? I'm just saying, you troll me, I'm gonna troll you back big time, alright? Umayos kayo, show respect. Alright? No one is forcing you to be on my platforms. Hindi ko kayo pinipilit. So kung nandito kayo, act like an adult. If you act like a kid, I'm gonna call you out. Kung napaya kayo, kasalanan yan. Alright? Yun lang, ganun kasimple lang. Okay, thank you very much. Muchas gracias. Thank you very much. Unfortunately, hindi natuloy kanina yung interview natin dun sa ating Latin American, my fellow Latino. We want to talk about pink wave in Latin America. We want to talk about Boric in Chile, Lula in Brazil. We want to talk about politics from El Salvador all the way to Ecuador and different countries. But unfortunately, hindi nagkaroon dahil nga dito sa traffic. Ayan. Kaya nga kanina, traffic kasi ganyan talaga. Mas grabe pa yung traffic natin kaysa Latin America. So, hindi nangyari. But hopefully, we try to catch up on that. And then, hopefully soon, also catch up tayo with Ronald Llamas, ang crush ng bayan, otherwise known as Ronald Alden. Okay? Alright. Pag-usapan din natin mga yan. And talk to you soon. God bless. Maraming salamat, and please, huwag kayong magalit kung medyo nagkantsawan lang tayo, nagbiro-biro lang tayo. Okay? It's just part of the game. We want to keep it interesting, we want to keep it real, but we want to keep it quite high level in terms of analysis and also in terms of moral convictions. On that note, thank you very much. God bless, and talk to you soon. And please subscribe sa ating mga channels. Okay, let me do my vlogger set. Subscribe to my channel. Alright, pag nasa YouTube tayo, Richard Haydarian Vlogs. Libre lang po yan. And by the way, also sa podcast, sa Spotify, Richard Haydarian Podcast, sa Apple, Richard Haydarian Podcast, please just leave some nice comments. I appreciate that. Libre lang po yan. Libre magbigay ng 5 stars, libre lang bigay ng nice comments. Libre lang po yan. Ma-appreciate natin yan. Because once we reach a certain threshold, alright, ng 5 stars, etc., madi-display na ito dun sa taas, and it will make it easier sa algorithm para ma-recommend yung ating mga podcast to other people na hindi pa rin follower natin sa podcasts natin. Alright? As I said, hindi madali mag-organize ng podcast. Alam ko, sariling sikap ito, but that's precisely why it's difficult. Wala akong secretary to reach out to people and interview them. Even sa, okay, hindi na ako magsalita baka mapahamak tayo. But, you know what I'm saying? Yun lang. In exchange for everything we're doing here, yun lang, simple lang hiningi natin. Please just leave good rating and good comments para ma-recommend tayo lalo sa Spotify and all of that. As I said, despite all of our limitations, thank God, we made it top 100 of Spotifys in the Philippines and top 100 Spotifys in different countries around the world. Not in all categories. Sa Pilipinas, in all categories, nag-top 100 tayo. In other countries, nag-top 100 tayo in politics and news categories. Singapore, United Arab Emirates, so on and so on. Ito ay dahil sa inyong suporta. So we hope that more and more people will listen to us, hear our message, and hopefully we encourage people to think critically and think for themselves. All right? And also to enjoy a little bit yung bardagulan natin. And we want to make this cool. We want to make proper political analysis and podcasting something cool and something also sustainable because syempre oras ko yan, energy ko yan, expertise na yan, di ba? What I could have put into some other work na pwede kang, for your livelihood, nilalagay natin dito. So, yun lang. Libre lang po yan. Alright? Just, please give the high star if you really think that we deserve it. And then also comment both sa Apple Podcast, Richard Haydarian, and also sa Spotify. Please. Kasi maganda yan. That will help in terms of pushing up our algorithm. Kasi sa algorithm yan, guys. Pag marami kang magandang ratings, i-recommend ka ng recommend ng Spotify dun sa mga tao na hindi pa followers mo or may have never even heard about you or may have heard about you but they don't know you have a podcast. So these things matter, guys. Alright? It's just a small thing on your side, but if each of you just make a few nice clicks here and there, malaking bagay yan dito sa project natin, dito sa ginagawa natin. Alright? Thank you so much. I really, really appreciate it. And then of course, dito sa TikTok, nagsisimula pa lang tayo dito. May mga pinapost tayo here and there. But we want to do it more seriously and more continuously. Obviously, ayan, baka ma-censor na naman ako. May limitasyon ng TikTok when it comes to China-related issues. Pero on the other issues naman, we want to reach out to people. So also follow us, Richard Haydarian 007 and Richard Haydarian Vlogs sa YouTube. Again, there's a logic why it's Richard Haydarian Vlogs, not political vlogs. I don't know, facts vlogs or opinion vlogs. No, because, it's everything there. I've recorded and edited a number of lectures that have nothing to do with politics. They're about culture, about society, and then may mga post tayo, mga pa-cute na nandun na nag-commute. So it's just vlogs. It's just general. It's just a general reflection of, our multifarious, the multifarious texture of our existence. Ayan, medyo mag-Jordan Peterson style tayo. Actually, more ano to. Yeah, you get what I'm saying. So yun lang, please support and just follow us also on Richard Haydarian Vlogs. As you know, the other thing naman, salamat Kapsat, the other thing naman kasi dito is, sa YouTube rin, meron tayong threshold. Alright? Ang threshold naman sa YouTube is you have to have 100,000 followers before ma-verify ka. Now, obviously, guys, alam nyo naman, katulad ng as you know, thankfully we're verified on many platforms, on Instagram, on Twitter, on Facebook, and all. Pero we're hoping that we'll also be verified sa YouTube because because of the nature of my work, it's important that you get that verification. Because if you have that verification, then alam ng tao ikaw talaga yon at hindi yung poser or anonymous or fake vlogger, etc. So for me, malaking factor. Now, sa YouTube kasi meron silang threshold. You have to have 100,000 followers before they give you that verification process. Yun ang nakita ko because I was applying for it or I asked my TV networks to do it. Mukhang 100,000 ang minimum na hiningi nila. So please, just subscribe. It's just one click lang and you will help us to get that verification. And of course, hopefully, if we also get that 100,000, they'll also give you some sort of click or something we can put behind us. Para God willing, we can also show our support and appreciation for what you're doing. Facebook, walang ganyan eh. Hundreds of thousands of followers, it doesn't make a difference. You can still get verification and all of that, but in YouTube. So, I appreciate that. I think on TikTok, ganun din, no? Kailangan ng 100,000 followers, I think, before... Hindi monetization, verification. Yung may check. 5,000 followers ang kailangan mo sa YouTube. So you can monetize it. Pero yung sa verification, you need 100,000. Yun ang nakita ko. So please, thank you. I appreciate what you guys are doing. It's just a few clicks, few stars, and subscription. Yun lang. That's all you need to do. Alright? That's all you need to do. Walang bayad yan. Libre yan. Mga Ilocano, alam niya where I come from. Alright? Awan tibayad. Okay. Awan. Okay. Free yan. 100%. Talk to you soon. God bless and maraming salamat sa supportan nyo. Naging hyper ako mga